season, both away from home. First Leeds, now Southampton. And after Sterling had given them the lead as well, but how Southampton fought back, and with good value for the points in the end. Chelsea lack cohesion. Tuchel has problems to sort out, but this night belongs to Ralph Hasenhüttl and Southampton. What a performance from them, Steve.
Yeah, brilliant. I echo everything you're saying. Totally deserved by Southampton. Chelsea have to go back and have a long, hard think. See what they're going to do in the transfer window, see how many bodies they can move on, but there's a lot of hard work in front of Thomas Tuchel and his boys.
Full time, Southampton 2, Chelsea 1.
Thank you, fellas. Nice to see the embrace between manager and young centre-half there. He was a colossus. Spela Kotchap, again, what a find. Among others, for Southampton, their recruitment, again, coming to the fore. A first home win over Chelsea since 2013. Mauricio Pochettino back then. Ralph Hasenhüttl tonight. Terrific work. Watched, of course, by Jermaine Chinas, Franny Benali, who's all smiles in the studio, and Joe Cole. Well, Chelsea, Joe, slightly run out of steam there. Is that fair?
They didn't have no answers. Southampton's energy was outstanding. Armstrong, Walker Peters, Lavia, Bella Koch, all outstanding. From Chelsea's perspective, started the game with a back four, which is a bit of a step aside from what they have been doing. After the first 20 minutes, they looked a bit off it. There's some unforced errors. There was no cohesion in the passing. Kai Havertz didn't look comfortable in that role. Thomas Tuchel has got a lot of questions that he's going to have to answer on that journey up the A3, back up to London. The transfer window shuts on Thursday. There's going to be a lot of comings and goings at Chelsea, but it was as poor of a performance I've seen from a Chelsea side under Thomas Tuchel, I believe, and he certainly won't be happy. And again, I know Franny was a little bit nervous towards the end. I didn't feel like Chelsea, I can't remember a chance in the second half. So, yeah, very disappointing night for Chelsea Football Club.
Yeah. And not the first time on the road, Jermaine. Chelsea looked a bit soft.
Yeah, I think he'll be baffled, Thomas Tuchel. You know, he's watched his team now play brilliantly against Spurs, go away to Leeds and be pretty inept, be brilliant with 10 men against Leeds,
Leicester.
And then turn up against Leicester, sorry.
Yeah.
And then turn up today and again just not really be at the races. I agree with Joe. I think in that second half, whatever he was searching for within the players to try and get themselves in the game, it just wasn't there. But the bottom line, this night's about Southampton and how brilliant they were and how much credit this man deserves for not only tonight's performance, but what he produced against Man United. And Franny kind of like waxed lyrical about how brilliant they were tonight.
No, and actually we said, didn't we, we shouldn't get stuck on Chelsea here. Southampton have been better perhaps than the points tally so far. You know that, Franny, and they were good value tonight.
They certainly were, and I said before the game, I think sometimes you need a team like Chelsea maybe not to be full at it to have a chance, and they had exactly that tonight. But you got to admire how Ralph Hasenhüttl sent his team out again on the front foot. They were brave, they were pushing players forward. Maybe that cost them potentially the first goal that Sterling scored, with the positions of the players. But yeah, outstanding. That's the third time now. Every point that they've taken in the Premier League so far has had to come after going behind. 2 down against Leeds United, 1 down against Leicester City on the road, and they've done it again here against Chelsea tonight. So it's showing a lot of character and resilience that is in what is a young side.
Yeah, not a habit necessarily want to get into, but exactly, good show of resilience and a fight back from Southampton. There is the story of the evening. The first 4 of 10 games this midweek, all across the BT Sport channels. 1 apiece, Crystal Palace and Brentford. Wilf Zaha putting the home side in front. Wissa with the late equaliser for Brentford. Fulham have beaten Brighton at the Cottage. Mitrovic, somewhat inevitably with his 5th of the season, put Fulham in front, and it was further extended by a Lewis Dunk own goal. McAllister got 1 back for Brighton, but not enough. And as you can see, a latest score in the 8 o'clock kickoff at Ellen Road. Anthony Gordon, a target, we understand, for Chelsea, put Everton, the visitors, in front. But Sinisterra has equalised for Leeds. 5 more games tomorrow, and then Leicester, Manchester United on Thursday. Still early days, but whilst Arsenal have that 100% record and City have been City, Southampton and Chelsea. Of course, Chelsea were in sixth. They drop a couple of places. Southampton into the top half. 7 points from 5 games played. I think that would please Ralph Hasenhüttl plenty. To Armel Bella Kotchapa, 20-year-old centre-half who's definitely catching the eye, Franny.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, he's one of 5 or 6 signings that we've made in the summer of young players that have come into the squad, had an instant impact right from day one already. And the performances that we're seeing, it's almost like a maturity beyond their years, really. I mean, you know, just defensively takes up good positions. He recognises danger. There was a few circumstances. This was one. Did he go and close Sterling down, or does he hold his space? And he made the decision and timed it perfectly. But yeah, JJ, it must be a nightmare as a midfielder trying to make runs through when you've got a player like that at the back.
When I look at him, Franny, he's got authority. He commands authority in the way that he plays, how aggressive he is in the tackle. Add to that his positional sense, which Franny has just touched on. But I always feel that, you know, when you're in that back line, you always want one kind of leading the way, the one that's kind of telling everyone, let's get up, let's drop down, let's communicate. He seems to be the one that wants to take that mantle, and at 20 years of age, to be able to kind of hold that kind of responsibility and perform the way he has. Not just today, by the way, he played well against United as well. It just shows what they've got, you know, that they're scouting producers again. You know, they keep producing them, Southampton.
Over to Joe. 2 good goals from Southampton tonight, but from a Chelsea point of view, holes to pick.
I mean, you hear buzzwords about counter-pressing and transition, and Thomas Tuchel will be going home and he'll be trying to pick the bones out of the goal, what happened. If you look at the situation here now, Chelsea are actually on the attack. We'll just play it on here. Chelsea going on the attack, throwing bodies forwards. As it gets turned over, we see now, and we'll just highlight Jorginho. This is the first, he does the first thing right. The first things first, you have to go with a centre forward, so he makes a run forward. We play it on now, and as he feels that now the danger goes into midfield, this is when he stops. Just play it back there a little bit. He stops, and then you've got the back four, Ziyech on this position at right back covering, and then he decides, I have to engage. Now, in this situation, when you engage, you've got 2 things you need to do. You have to slow the play down or make a foul. He does neither. We're playing half speed to see how easily he gets beaten in this situation. Bang. He gets beaten, and then a crescendo of not mistakes. Now Ruben Loftus-Cheek in this position here, his midfield mate's been beaten. He does the right thing. He has to come over and cover. And then, but what does that leave? Eventually, Chelsea have to back off, and it leaves us a bit of space here. And we'll just play on, and look how clever Ward-Prowse is here. He has a look over his shoulder. He backs off into the space. Another look over his shoulder. Bang. Chelsea now are still numbers up, a back 5. Yeah, and we'll just see Ziyech there. We'll play this a bit quicker as it goes on. Easy ball now. And now, where you don't want to be as a centre-half, you're Azpilicueta, Thiago, Koulibaly, all running towards their own goal, but you still should be OK. Now, Thomas Tuchel will be kicking himself eventually. How does Adam Armstrong get a shot off with a touch? We'll play this on in half speed. Clever bit of movement, but I think one of the centre-halves in this situation, Azpi or Thiago, has to be clever, a little bit more composed, and pick up the man there who finishes it. And it's just these little minor details are costing Chelsea. You know, Jorginho, do the right thing, delay the play. Silva, Azpilicueta, usually very reliable, get a little bit mistakes at the wrong time, and Chelsea getting punished at the moment.
Come on, Nate. That's the equivalent of 4 cherries on the fruit machine for you at the big screen there. Very good. Terrific from a Saints point of view, Franny. We've probably picked Chelsea apart enough, but that's great for Southampton that tonight.
Yes, it'd be a huge boost, you know, taking 3 points off a team like Chelsea, winning at home, which has been a long time coming now as well. The games under lights are a little bit special, and the result's gone with it tonight. And Ralph Hasenhüttl will be looking at his squad now going, I've got young players of teenage years that are producing on the pitch that gives that whole balance to the squad, a whole new dynamic now. And it's competition in the squad, which is healthy as well.
Would you worry about them less than last season, Saints, on this
on that
evidence?
performance,
Yeah.
100%. I was just saying to Franny then, I mean, they've played against Spurs, Man United, Chelsea and Leicester away. We've got 7 points from those 4 games, and that is a tough start. They're all pulling in the same direction. And, the goals are still a bit of a concern, I'm not going to lie, but if they can keep performing like that, there's not many teams that are going to come away with much from St Mary's.
Congratulations, you came from behind to take 3 points against Chelsea. Just how huge is this moment?
Massive. We had a few tough games recently, and we knew it was going to be a tough night tonight. Chelsea are a top opposition, and the lads dug deep. You've seen at the end how hard everyone works. That's what it means to play for this club in front of this crowd. You have to be on it every time, and nights like this we won't forget.
Do you feel like a result like this has been coming because you pushed United close?
Yeah, it was frustrating on Saturday. We had a few chances that we should be putting away, but that's football. We had to dig deep tonight, and 3 points is massive.
Nice to be back on the score sheet yourself.
Yeah, it's been a while. Playing out of position a bit on the left now. I'm getting used to it again. So yeah, it's good.
Credit to the lads as well, because it looked like a really good team goal. You just all seem to be singing off the same hymn sheet at the minute. Yeah,
that's all it takes. I think we know the lads are working hard. We've got a great squad now, a lot of youth who can run about, so that's good.
Well, it's also Romeo's first senior goal tonight. Pleased for him?
Yeah, brilliant. Romeo's been top class since he's come in. He came through Man City. We know what he was like, and I'm buzzing for him.
Well, as you said, there are a lot of new players in the squad, young players in the squad, but does it feel when you get a win over teams like Chelsea that in actual fact you can step up and be really competitive this season?
Yeah, I think we have to look at every game, you know how hard the Premier League is. But nights like tonight, if you work as hard as we did tonight and take your chances, I think that's the main thing. In recent weeks we haven't been taking our chances, but tonight we did and earned the 3 points.
It's the first time that Saints have beaten Chelsea at home since 2013. Nice to give the fans something to sing about.
Yeah, like you said, you need the 12th man at the end when you're pushing for it. But like you said, great night tonight, and we'll celebrate tonight.
Lovely. Adam, enjoy. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you.
Yeah, well played to him and to Southampton to rub almost literally, Joe, salt into the wound. Ice, I suppose, would do better. It's a hamstring, we understand, for Ruben Loftus-Cheek.
Well, the woes continue for Thomas Tuchel. I mean, a long list of midfielders. Thomas alluded to that before the game. He felt that he's lost key players. Ruben's arguably been Chelsea's best player at the start of the season, so it's a big blow. Kovacic come on, couldn't really get that energy. He's not got any football in his legs, not had a pre-season. But nobody's going to be crying any tears for Chelsea. The squad's huge. Billy Gilmour is another international who can come in and play in that role. So we just have to go back to the drawing board, and it's a huge game at the weekend against West Ham at home, and a must-win game. Even at this, you can't lose 3 of your first 6 games in the Premier League and expect to compete even to get into the Champions League. So it's tough times for the club.
Might be a chaotic last couple of days of the window. We shall see. And actually, after a pretty good start, certainly took the lead, and it was a nice move, and Chelsea were kind of in control at that point, Jay.
Yeah, they had the wind was in their sails. They were playing some good stuff, in particular down that left-hand side. Cucurella's runs. Mason Mount was really active also, and it felt like the goal was coming. As much as kind of like Southampton were working hard, this area of the pitch was really being exposed, and we highlighted that run from Cucurella at the end of the first half, and Raheem Sterling does what he's going to continue to do in a Chelsea shirt, in my opinion, which is score goals, score big goals and important goals. It just wasn't enough tonight, and if anything, there wasn't enough of his type and that type of area to get Chelsea back in the game.
Sometimes, Franny, we pick out a player before a match and they let you down. This guy ain't going to let many down, I don't think, even at 18, Lavia.
Not at all. Seeing his Premier League debut, that's such a tender age, and the calmness and the composure that he shows, the confidence he shows, and we're seeing that with the way that he scored his first Premier League goal as well this evening, and just outstanding. And that sort of boosted the team to then kick on a little bit, which resulted in this goal from Adam Armstrong. Absolutely great. That's a great little cutback from Perot.
Yeah.
Armstrong doing well just to hold his run. All the others had made that run forward, taking the Chelsea defence in, and great composure. Perfect timing to score a goal for Southampton.
Huge for a forward in a team that doesn't score bags of goals to get up and running. He's waited a while for that.
Yeah, and he said in his interview he's been playing off the left. I think crucial for young players watching, both touches for the goal. Lavia and Armstrong's touch was outstanding as the ball come back, and he just taken it, cushioned it, and then it's in their place, and he's a lovely strike, got a deflection, and I'm pleased with it for him because he lives off goals, Armstrong. He lives off goals, but he said they're in the ascendancy now, Southampton, a young, athletic, vibrant team again, the future's bright.
On another night, it might have got worse, and that might have killed the game. It turned out not to matter so much, but Thiago Silva, who's, I think, 38 years young, he knows how to keep the goal clear?
Yeah, he was just calm when he needed to be.
Right.
He was brilliant, I thought, today again for Chelsea. I mean, people keep talking about his age, but the guy just obviously clearly looks after himself, and this is just years of experience. I mean, it's also a little bit of there's no other option. It's very much like, right, how do I get this ball to not go in the net? And he's just very reactive and smart in the way he does it, Joe.
Yeah, but JJ, it was reactive there, but the instinct to get into that position.
Correct, yeah.
Great players. Ashley Cole, remember, used to clear so many balls off the line, and everyone goes, constantly, it's like good strikers being in the right place at the time. Great defenders are in the right place at the right time.
But linked with, more than linked with Fofana, I think he's having a medical in the States. There's talk of Guardiola, young Croatian centre-half at Leipzig, and they're clearly spending whatever it takes to try and reinforce wherever they think they've got problems, which is kind of everywhere at the moment.
It is, and money will be spent. There'll be lots of comings and goings. We've seen Ross Barkley leave. We've seen Callum Hudson-Odoi leave. The squad, Thomas Tuchel, I feel he believes the squad needs reinvigorating, revitalisation. And that, but a second half performance in particular, it's needed because Chelsea wasn't tight enough to players. The passing wasn't crisp, and I think he's recognised that. And I think the owners will back him. I think there'll be some movement in the next 2 days, and Chelsea fans will certainly be eager to see new faces come through the door.
Perhaps they should have spent 10 million or so on Armel Bella-Kotchap. He was terrific. We'll talk about him before we're done, but let's hear from the Chelsea boss, Thomas Tuchel, with Becky.
Well, Thomas, how do you sum that one up tonight?
Difficult and a bit early. I don't know why, but we start well in all the games almost, and obviously we struggle with our focus and with the consistency in matches. It's not enough to play 20 minutes good. We did the same in Leeds, and one thing goes against us, and then we struggle to find answers, and we struggle to fight our way back if the things don't go in our direction. Today they went in our direction, and still with the equalizer we started to struggle and to adapt, and gave it completely out of our hands, and it's the situation.
Does it concern you that it will take time to sort of dissect and work out why things aren't clicking, bearing in mind the games?
I don't know if concern is the right word. I absolutely dislike to lose, and it's already second time in the season, very early, and it does not take. I think it does not take a lot to beat us. This is what I don't like. We are humble enough to understand that we can lose football matches, and of course away matches. This is also, we don't like it, and we try to win every match, but the way we do this is for sure something we need to understand as fast as possible and to change.
Ruben Loftus-Cheek came off at half-time. Was that a knock or...?
Yeah, it's a hamstring injury, so next midfielder out, there's no one left. So the recommendation for Mateo Kovacic was 20 minutes. We made 45 out of it. It's a situation I also don't understand why we are in this situation regarding the injuries, and the injuries like all players in midfield. But that's the way it is, and we need to find solutions.
Are you also confused as to how it's only Raheem Sterling at the minute that's giving you sort of attacking returns in your forward line?
Yeah, it is what it is. It's a reality, and we played with 4 offensive players now many times. Like I said, I think in the first 20 minutes we created quite half chances, but we struggled to score, which is also not brand new for us, and does not necessarily need to have the consequence that you lose matches. You can also win 1-0, you can win 2-0 with a late goal, so no problem. But then you need to have a clean sheet. You need to be more focused, and amount of individual errors, lack of concentration is simply too high at the moment to win football matches consistently. We can win, of course, what we proved, but it's not consistent enough.
What do you plan to do between now and West Ham on Saturday?
To understand the match. I have no plan right now. I need to understand what the team needs. There's no plan at the moment, but we will have a plan when we arrive on Saturday.
Thomas, thank you for your time.
Hint of a smile, and he's kind of trying to be calm and composed, but I sense he's got kind of problems on top of his problems. He's like exasperated.
He's frustrated.
Yeah.
He's highly frustrated, but I always like his kind of frank and honest approach to his interviews post-game. He highlights the issue, exposes it, and you know full well, I mean, Becky asked the question, but Monday morning, probably from tonight on the coach. These managers are so diligent in the work they do. He'll be kind of already dropping in a few conversations with the players, and then by tomorrow morning, when the players are recovering, they'll be fully aware that essentially he feels like they've got a soft centre, and that's what needs to change, and that's what's costing them, because it's not the ability and the quality they've got. You do feel kind of going into the game against West Ham, it's one of those types of games, a bit like the Tottenham one, where they'll be up for it and you'll see a different version of Chelsea, but there's no doubt there's enough to be concerned about there for Thomas Tuchel.
I know he's got injuries, but what's his best team?
I picked up Matt. He said the way we lost. I think that's crucial. He didn't want to get engaged with Becky about too many reasons we lost. He wants to look at it. He'll have ideas in his head, but he wants to look at it and reaffirm why he thinks we lost. But I think that was a message to his team where he's like, we can't go out with a whimper, not creating chances. With all due respect to Southampton, if Chelsea are looking to go into the Champions League, I think that's what concerned him. He said we played with 4 offensive players when he's asked about Raheem Sterling being the only one who's scoring goals. So he's got all these questions floating around in his head, and JJ's right. It starts from the coach ride home. It might be a little word in someone's ear. And the game against West Ham is going to... you don't even have to get the lads up for that. It's a London derby. The stadium will be rocking. But he has got his problems. He's definitely got problems.
Yeah, absolutely. Can they fix them for the weekend? Couple of days of the transfer window.
Well, Ralph, is that another performance to be proud of? But this time, 3 points.
Yes, exactly. This is the difference to Saturday. And this is what I said my players before the game. It's not enough to get good warm words after the game and have no points. Today we have to take the situations when they are coming to score and to win a game, and the belief was there from the first moment. And even after being 1 down, I didn't have the feeling that we are struggling. We tried a lot today against a very good opponent, but I think with this effort you deserve a lot.
But with the goals as well today, first senior goal for Romeo, how pleased are you for him?
Yeah, it was the positive thing that he's played a fantastic game and scored a goal, and the negative thing is that he's maybe injured now for a few weeks, so it's not perfect. But he has shown in the first games how good he is for us. Yeah.
Adam Armstrong as well, first goal since November. He's had to be patient for that.
Yes, absolutely. But when you work hard for a team, then you get in a moment where you get the praise for it and the reward. And I think today was the moment. And I mean, we speak about the goal, we can speak about all the sprints he had done to defend in our own half. It is unbelievable, and I'm so happy that he get the reward for this work he has done.
Do you feel like there's something potentially quite special developing between you and the whole squad?
Yes, I said it from the first day on that we have the feeling that we have a team that is maybe young, but there's a lot of empty space on the hard disk, and they can learn quick. And I think in the end, this is the way we have to go, but we also like to go. And when you see the body language from the young lads, when you see how they are taking the lead on the pitch, this is more important than taking the lead in the dressing room. They have fun of working hard. They have fun of running a lot and fighting. And then, when the right moment comes, also for playing football and scoring goals.
Yeah, well, that's disappointing, no doubt, for Southampton fans to hear that Romeo Lavia has picked up an injury. He might be out for a few weeks, according to their manager. But with this young side, he talks about something special possibly brewing. The fact that they're so young, does it give them that element of energy, even that unpredictability that they can benefit from this early stage of the season?
Definitely, and ultimately the manager's putting in place players, recruitment. You've got to give him credit for that, because Bella Kotchap, I'm sure not many people even knew about him. We were talking about him being 9.5 million. I mean, that's an absolute steal. So, and we spoke about Southampton being a feeder club. There's been so much talent that's come throughout the years. Oxlade-Chamberlain, Gareth Bale, the list could go on. So hopefully they can keep hold of top players and not just sell them on.
Yeah. Next 3 fixtures: Wolves, Brentford, Villa. What do you think? I mean, they go into them in a decent frame of mind, Leon.
Oh, they definitely do that. And I think Ralph Hasenhüttl won't get carried away. He's been on the back of 9-0 defeats. He's been on the back of being top of the league. He's seen both ends of the table. But he seems to be really pleased with the squad he's got. He's talking very positive. He's full of confidence. I found it amazing that he says that his team
find it fun working hard. You know, nobody finds it fun running around as much as his team did tonight, unless you get that victory. So it's great that he's got that positivity within the squad. He's got them enjoying working hard. He's got them enjoying being part of a team unit that gets results, and you know that'll go a long way tonight. You know, against Manchester United, he felt that he got them working hard and playing well and being part of a unit without getting the result. Tonight was completely different for them.
Yeah. This is what he wants, though, isn't it? Young, impressionable young players that he can implement his coaching style on.
Definitely.
That's Ralph Hasenhüttl's approach.
Yeah, and he's a very emotional guy. You know, we see when they win games, he's really invested. So, and when you see a manager investing like that, it makes you want to play for them. I think he's that type of manager. And obviously, ultimately, having the youth there now running their socks off, that's what happens when you're young. You can run yourself into the ground. But I think ultimately you also have to have leadership as well. So it's early days. They should enjoy this result, definitely, absolutely. And things are looking good. The fans are looking happy, and that's all that really matters at this moment in time. But ultimately, they need to find their consistency as well and beat the teams. You know, the smaller clubs, they seem to do well against the top clubs to a certain degree, and against the smaller clubs, they struggle to get results. And mentality is always a thing. You mentioned it before. Going behind and being able to come from behind is massive, and they played really well tonight against Chelsea.
Good for Southampton. Disappointing evening, of course, as far as Chelsea are concerned, losing back-to-back away games in the Premier League. Let's get some post-match reaction from the Chelsea camp. Here's Cesar Azpilicueta.
So how frustrating is that, especially the way you started the game?
Well, of course, it's a disappointing result. We were 1-0 up and we had a really bad end of the first half, and then we were not able to come back and get something from the game.
Things never really seemed to click, even after you'd scored the goal, after that great start. Any idea why it wasn't quite working?
No, of course, we will work to get it fixed and to go back to the solidity that we used to have. We are, I think it's pretty obvious that we are conceding too many goals, and we make it very difficult for ourselves. Every game in the Premier League is tougher and tougher. We know how it works. The competition is higher, so of course, when we concede so many goals, we make it even more difficult for us.
What should you have done as a team, as a defensive unit, for the 2 goals they scored today?
Well, there are many details, that of course you can change. We are a team that we reflect in what we do, what we can improve as a group and individually, and of course we have to be honest with ourselves. We know that we can do better, me, myself, and from there we have to work hard, because Saturday we have an important game where we need to get back to winning ways, but we need to get the consistency to keep winning games, because when you come back, we came from a defeat in Leeds, and we turned things around against Leicester. Then today again we lose, so it's very inconsistent, and we need to find the solidity and the consistency to win games.
You can hear the disappointment in Azpilicueta's voice there. But if you look at the start, Manchester City have made Liverpool after the 9-0 against Bournemouth, but particularly Arsenal. You can't win anything at this stage, as any manager will tell you, but are Chelsea in danger of losing, that favourite spot for 4th place even at this early stage?
I don't think you lose a top 4 spot at this time. I think you let the Championship front runners get too far ahead of you, but I don't think you lose the top 4 spot, but you make it very difficult for yourself as the season goes on. You make your job and you make your task a lot more formidable. We've seen that they can get on good runs. We've seen that they can get on a real streak of results and performances that have took them to silverware in the past, in the second half of the season, when you need to be strong. But they just want to make sure they're not giving themselves too much to do at this stage by not getting over the line. Yes, they're not playing well. Yes, as Cesar Azpilicueta repeated what Thomas Tuchel said, they're conceding far too many goals and they're too easy to score against. But they need to just show a bit of character now to get them the results, and make sure they keep it tight and make sure that they keep themselves within striking distance.
Yeah, and adds more significance on their next fixture, which happens to be against West Ham in what is always a feisty London derby.